Hello, my name is Olga. I am the founder and CEO of AWAKEN, the AI ecosystem for the natural capital markets. In the past 20 years, we have reinvented almost everything: the way we live, the way we travel, the way we do most of our things. But there's just one thing that we didn't figure out yet, is how to save our planet from being destroyed. In AWAKEN, we see the nature as the active participant of our financial system. We make forests, rivers, and oceans investable, tradable, and intelligent. For the first time, people will be able to own the shares of the ecosystems. So guys, let us see what is the problem now. After the 25 years of the international pledges, when almost all of the companies, almost all the international institutions declared that we want to fight the climate change, why actually nothing is changing? And you will tell me, Olga, but a lot of things is changing, but really no. So let's look at the proofs. So as you can see here, if we see from year 1990, the numbers are saying by themselves. If we see the numbers of the biodiversity loss, we will see that in 1990 it was 30%, then it was growing, growing, and growing. And if we see the projection until 2030, we can see that we can lose almost 85% of our biodiversity, almost 1 million species. Then we look forward. Let's see about the coral reefs. We are on the threat to lose 70–80% of them. The same is deforestation. And let's look at the carbon footprint. Besides of the pledges and all the effort to cut our CO2, we are almost growing it again until the year 2030. So what is the reason for this? So who we have to blame? Actually, the reason for this is that nature is excluded from the modern economy. The reason is that if we see the historical retrospective, we can see that from the conquest area, from 15th century, we have been building the economy which was using the nature, the natural resources, the wood, the biodiversity, the oil, the carbon, only like extractive resource. We were never thinking about regenerating, we were never thinking about using the living nature as our capital. So this historical retrospective coming from the 15th century is the answer why we still keep losing the nature. And if we don't change our economic system, if we don't make the nature the active participant of the modern financial system, we will keep losing. Because if we think that we can save the nature just donating, just buying the other 400, 500,000 hectares, if you are the philanthropist or very rich person, just to conserve this rainforest, or if we just go to the strikes and if we just go to the rallies, guys, it will not change nothing. Absolutely nothing. We are just lying to ourselves. Because the real solution is to let the nature be the participant of our economic system. In AWAKEN, we flip everything up and down. We do make living nature more profitable than the dead nature. So I want you to look really good at this slide, which shows you why the system is not working, why we keep losing, and we will keep losing if we don't change nothing. So if you see what has the value, if you see the living tree in the forest, its value for now in the modern economic system is 0. But what has the economic value? The economic value has exactly the tree which is cut. We use the wood to produce the paper, to produce the furniture, and the dead tree has the obvious value. But the living tree, the value is 0. So how we change this in AWAKEN? The solution we are offering is to turn the living nature and make the living nature profitable by creating the new financial instruments, by generating carbon, biodiversity, water credits, by trading the ecological data, by trading the sustainable commodities. We make the living nature profitable and make it more profitable than the dead one. In AWAKEN, we make nature investable by issuing the shares of nature. In AWAKEN, we make nature tradable by trading the financial instruments which are deriving from this, like the credits and ecological data. We make nature digitalized by creating the digital footprint and the digital copy of our living ecosystems, and we make the nature intelligent, being able to speak by itself and merge the AI with the nature. So how do we make nature investable? In AWAKEN, we developed our own legal framework, which we called the green hold. But basically, it's the long-term contract for 30, 50, 100 years, which allows companies, people who do want to preserve our planet, co-own the natural resources together with the governments and indigenous communities. Why it's crucially important? Because if you look at these numbers, you will realize that 80% or even more of the global natural assets, such as rivers, oceans, glaciers, forests, are owned by the governments or indigenous communities. So if we don't find the solution, how without transferring the ownership, we can become the co-owners of these natural assets, we will never make nature investable and tradable. So this is exactly the solution we are offering in AWAKEN. And how it works, we are arming the green hold long-term contracts, we are tokenizing those contracts, and based on those contracts, we are issuing the digital shares of the nature. So from this point, everyone in this planet who want to stop the climate change, who want to preserve our planet, will be able not just to donate, will be able to buy the share of the ecosystem. What is the second solution we are offering in AWAKEN? It's how we make nature digitalized. In AWAKEN, we are introducing our own patented AI-dMRV system, which is measurement, reporting, and verification system, which will allow us to make the digital copy of the natural asset. We are using not only satellite images, like most of the companies on the market are doing, but we are intended to create the global network of sensors, which is able to measure the ecosystem health and do the monitoring in real time. And in the same real time, we are intended to issue the carbon, biodiversity, water, resilience, climate, and other type of credits and financial instruments of the nature. We think it's crucially important to develop the on-ground sensors network, which will be able to capture the parameters and make the digital copy in the nature of the real time. We want to use the most recent technologies, such as smart stations. Why? Because the smart stations are able to measure 1,500 parameters in the real time. We want to apply the LiDARs, the most recent LiDARs, which allow us to create the digital copy of the nature. We want to use the eDNA scanning methodologies, which allow us to discover all the biodiversity and issue the very high quality of biodiversity credits. And we want to merge and connect all of this on-ground sensors data with the NVIDIA's Earth-2 and NASA digital twin to have the most precise, the most intelligent copy of our ecosystems. And why it's crucially important, you will ask. And we were spending months of work with the Ministry of Ecology of Peru, just being able to understand how we can merge all this data. And I want you to show these two very short examples, but vivid examples, which will give you the understanding why we are supposed to move in this way. So in this table, you are seeing by which methods and in which systems, for example, the Peruvian government is collecting the environmental data. You will be seeing 6 systems, but which in total are able to collect the no more than 40 parameters of the ecosystem. In the contrary, if we apply the on-ground sensors network, we will be able to capture 1,500 parameters. And also, which is mostly important, if you will see the next table, here you will see how accurate is the data that currently the government can capture using the best technologies that are present besides of the on-ground sensors. So you will see we were using here the SEAA accounting offered by the United Nations as the standard. So in the 36 parameters, unfortunately for now, today, we are able to evaluate only 5, 6, and only with 40–50% accuracy. If we implement the AWAKEN system, we will be able to measure, as I was telling you, 1,500 parameters of the ecosystems in real time with a 90% accuracy. So this approach will totally change the way we are evaluating the nature, and it will allow us to make the most profound, up for today in the world, evaluation of the ecosystem services, and united with the governmental systems, which we are currently piloting with the Peruvian Ministry of the Environment. The third solution we are bringing is to make the nature tradable. Because if we don't apply this economic model, we are not able to proceed and make the nature the financial player of the modern economic system. In AWAKEN, we developed our own platform, which allows to trade ecological credits, generated in the real time, which is carbon, biodiversity, water, climate, and other type of credits, which is we are able to trade the ecological data, the sustainable commodities, and all of this in one ecosystem connected with the AI-dMRV, our patented system. Also, the people will be able, with one click, from whatever place in the world, to buy the shares of the natural assets. For example, the shares of the Amazon jungle or the shares of the Great Australian Reef, which is very exciting, don't you think so? And the last solution which AWAKEN is bringing, which is probably the most exciting for me, and I'm thrilled to do this, is to make the nature intelligent. How we do this? In AWAKEN, we are developing the Bioneuron, the biointelligence of the nature. It will be the first time when the artificial intelligence will be created by the nature itself, but not by the humans. We will implement, besides of the sensor network that I was talking before, we will implement the metabolic sensors, which will merge with the nature, being able to live and think like the natural systems are thinking, not humans. Doing so, imagine that one day we will be able to make decisions about the ecosystems not only by humans, but by talking to the AI avatars of the ecosystem, when the Amazon rainforest will be able to use that intelligence to co-govern with the humans. Now we will skip to the standard data for the pitch presentations, which will explain you what business model AWAKEN is having. So basically our business model is the ecosystem model, where we act like the operator of the natural capital market system. In AWAKEN, we are intended to work with the 4 groups of the stakeholders. The first group of stakeholders is the governments and indigenous communities, and for the governments we are providing the very transparent system of the co-ownership of the natural assets, where they keep their initial ownership, and the totally transparent monitoring and revenue splitting or revenue sharing system. Then we are providing the services for the NACs, or the natural assets companies. Those are the professional private entities which will be in charge of managing the natural resources. For those companies and for the private capital, we are doing the big solution, because for now it's almost impossible for them to enter the market. So we will create the clear legal and organizational framework, an automatic framework, and the natural asset companies will be able to co-govern the natural resources, having the transparent monitoring system. The third group of the stakeholders that AWAKEN is working for is actually the investors, and those are people who do want to preserve our planet and stop the climate change, or the companies with the sustainability pledges. So for those people and for those companies, we are providing the opportunity to invest in the nature and to become the shareholder and the co-governor and co-owner of the natural asset just in one click. Imagine you are opening your phone, and like in the stock market, just with one click you can purchase the shares, but shares of the Amazon rainforest instead of shares of the Amazon company. And the fourth group of the stakeholders we are working with is the buyers of the ecological data and ecological credits. Basically, those are the companies who have currently the sustainability obligations, or they're reaching their ESG goals. When we are talking about the AWAKEN's income streams, we are working basically like any stock market would work. So from our platform, we receive the transaction fees, we receive the listing fees, we receive the trading fees. Also, we are providing the SaaS solutions, and we are also having the income operating by ourselves, in some cases as the natural asset companies. When we talk about the market evaluation, well, the sustainability market is growing very rapidly. So if we talk about year 2030, the approximate valuation is $20 trillion. And if we're looking about the projection to year 2050, the World Economic Forum is evaluating the market of $55 trillion, which is half of the global GPT. So there is no question about how rapidly is growing the market, but we have to find really correct solutions how to make this market really actionable and profitable. The AWAKEN's target market share until year 2050 is 17% of the global natural asset tokenized, which will make us one of the biggest Web3 company up today. What is ready for today? So first of all, we are backed by the Peruvian government. We have the agreement with the Ministry of Environment of Peru that we will launch the natural capital platform, and we will list 10 million hectares by the year 2007 on our platform. Also, we have a deal with the Loreto regional government to implement our pilot on the almost 500,000 hectares of the Amazon rainforest in year 2026. And this will be exactly where we will implement our AI-dMRV model, implementing all the on-ground sensors. Also, we have the agreements with the major scientific institutions, which is University of Amazonia Peruana and the EAP, because our scientific base and scientific network is extremely strong. Up to date, we already raised $2.5 million. We have our R&D ready, our patents filed, and we have our R&D base constructed in the Amazon rainforest of Peru. And our go-to-market plan. So in year 2026, we are focused to implement the pilot that we are currently raising capital in the seed round. We want to implement all our sensor network on the 500,000 hectares of the Amazon rainforest. We want to create the national asset company. We want to generate the first real-time credits, and we want to create the prototype of our platform to be able to list 10 million hectares, which we have already pre-agreed with the Peruvian Ministry of Ecology on this platform by the end of the year 2026. So basically, in the year 2026, we will be implementing the pilot to prove our economic model. When the economic model is proved, in year 2027, we will launch online our national capital market platform. And exactly this point will be the first exit point for the early stage investors, which will join the AWAKEN. After year 2028, we are able to make the agreements with the other countries besides of Peru to start using the national asset platform as the international platform for trading and attracting investments to the natural assets and resources. The investments we ask to perform the pilot and to complete the first phase of our go-to-market plan is $15 million, most of which will be used to deploy the on-ground sensor network and also to develop the natural capital market platform. Obviously, to make such an ambitious project working, we need an amazing team. And we do have this team in AWAKEN. Our team is constructed with the two main groups, which is scientific team and technological team. Our scientific team includes the most prominent European scientists, which are already, for the past 2 years, implementing the most advanced technologies of the on-ground sensors that I was talking about. Also, our team includes the Peruvian scientists with the UNAP, Universidad of Amazonia Peruana, and EAP. Those are people on the place who are already working with the eDNA sequencing libraries, with the artificial intelligence, also for the past couple of years. And our technological team will be working on the outsource basis, and also we are in the process of negotiations with NVIDIA's Earth-2 project and with the NASA digital twin of the Earth to be able to integrate our datasets together. We have the very profound partnerships. As I was already mentioning, our partner is the Ministry of Ecology of Peru, our partner is the Loreto regional government, our partner is the Chamber of Commerce of Indigenous of Peru, because we do have to work with the indigenous communities who are the stakeholders of the natural resources. So with this team, we will be happy to move forward. And also we have the amazing team of advisors, which includes the former ministers of ecology and of fisheries and of agriculture of Peru. So our team is totally equipped and totally ready to proceed with this project. Now I want to ask you a question. What would you choose? Do you want to invest in preserving the Earth? Or you want to invest in the new planet's colonization? The choice is always yours. You have to decide. Be awakened.